Ask yourself what led up to a child being killed by a police officer while running through an alley near a one-way street in between a church and a school. The two institutions our children traditionally depend on for guidance and safety. We need solutions that begin with telling our own stories so that we can take back control of our narratives and defend the humanity of Adam and other kids just like him. We are Adam.
On March 29, a Chicago police officer chased 13-year-old Adam Toledo down an alley during a foot pursuit.
Stop! Stop!
The teenager tossed a gun behind a fence, then turned around and put both of his hands up.
Stop! Stop!
The officer fired a single bullet into the boy's chest.
Shots fired! Shots fired! Get an ambulance up here now!
Adam Toledo! Adam Toledo! Adam Toledo!
By now, you may have seen or heard his name, Adam Toledo. A Mexican-American, 7th grader from Chicago, is one of 5 children shot and killed by police in the past few weeks. Adam's tragic death has brought up many questions, not just about the circumstances that led up to the shooting, but also about the use of police force against children of color. Chicago's Little Village, or La Villita, is known as the Mexico of the Midwest. It was also where Adam lived. This is where his neighborhood keeps his memory alive. Photojournalist Mateo Zapata has spent much of the past year documenting immigrant communities during the COVID crisis. Now, he's bearing witness as they mourn another loss of life, this time at the hands of the Chicago Police Department.
The people that I've met in this community that knew Adam tell me that they're in pain. To me, the statement, "We are Adam," means that a lot of us grew up like him in similar environments and are faced with the same situations that he was that evening and the life that was surrounding him at that time.
Surveillance cameras caught 21-year-old Ruben Roman firing a gun at least 8 times near 24th and Sawyer. Toledo was with him.
Chicago Emergency Sampler.
Yeah, there was about 7 or 8 gunshots fired on the 2300 block of South Sawyer.
2300 block of Sawyer.
Yeah, I'm hearing a lot of commotion right now.
Did you see anything?
No, I just heard it.
I myself was a 13-year-old boy too, who was raised by a single mother, who, didn't have the resources that I needed to be able to thrive. And I joined the gang when I was 13, and I did it because I lacked that sense of belonging, that sense of opportunity. And unfortunately for many people in the south side of Chicago, street gangs fill those voids.
Berto Aguayo leads Increase the Peace, an anti-violence group that works with young people in the south side of Chicago through community events like this.
I think as a Little Village resident, it's sad, but I became quite numb to the violence in my hood. But this specific predicament with Adam was not something I was able to ignore. I grew up with kids like Adam. They were my friends. Instead of us focusing on whether these kids were bad or good, gang affiliated or not, let's talk about the complex system that was built to make us minorities fail in these hoods of Chicago.
You look at communities like Little Village where 71% of young people are unemployed. We have communities that have gotten their schools closed, but cop academies open. Adam loved art. He had great penmanship. His teacher said he could have been a great artist, but he didn't have an art class at his school because it was cut. We will never know that if he had an after-school program, maybe he wouldn't have ended up in this alley in that dangerous encounter.
When we're yelling and we're saying defund the police and fund our communities, it's very important because Adam didn't have a chance. He is just starting his life. Say his name. Say his name. We can't hear you say his name.
One of the effects of police shootings like this one on children and our community and the youngest members of our community is that it creates trauma and it triggers previous trauma from the many instances of violence in our community.
Since 2013, the Chicago Police Department has used fatal force against 12 children, including Adam. And while the number of kids killed by police nationwide in recent years is far less than adults, nearly 70% of those children identified as people of color. In fact, most of them were either Black or Latino. In 2014, 17-year-old Laquan McDonald was shot 16 times while walking away from Chicago police. Weeks later, 12-year-old Tamir Rice was shot to death while playing with a toy gun at a Cleveland, Ohio park. As Derek Chauvin's verdict came down on April 20th, 16-year-old Makaya Bryant's family said she called 911 after being threatened. Makaya, who was holding a knife when police arrived on the scene, was fatally shot by an officer 4 times.
We need to protect and cherish all of our children, especially those in distress who need us the most.
She had a full life ahead of her that ended in a tragedy.
So you look at mass shooters, the many Caucasian mass shooters that have been in this country, they are apprehended and rarely is lethal force an option. Why don't young people of color specifically get the same treatment and the same compassion and talk about not only the systemic issues of mental health and the lack of mental health resources, but also the presumption of innocence and the compassion that law enforcement across the country uses when interacting with young people of color.
Everybody should be talking about Dante. Everybody should be talking about Adam.
It is a question national organizers like Carmen Perez have been working to fix. I was reading this, a study by the National Children's Hospital says that Black children are 6 times more likely to be shot to death by police than white children. So for Latino kids, that risk of death is almost 3 times higher. Why are children of color targets by police and by police violence?
Black and Latino kids are at higher risk of being killed by police because of over-surveillance and over-policing in our communities. Racial bias is also why those interactions are more likely to be fraught. Black and brown youth are seen as older than they really are. Black and brown bodies are seen bigger and more intimidating.
So how do you think police should respond when they have to deal with children?
First of all, I want to acknowledge the fact that a child was killed, right? Adam Toledo. We need to establish, right, that there should not be any deadly force when it comes to children. You think about Makia. The police should have assessed the situation and de-escalated. And because they couldn't do that, it shouldn't be police responding to her. It should be trained violence interrupters. There are clearly community violence interrupters who routinely de-escalate situations more dangerous than the one that the police were faced that day. And when police officers interact with children, they need to treat them as such. They are children.
Black families often tell us that they have to have a talk with their children. Do you think we should do the same thing within the Latino community? That we as Latino parents, that we should have a talk with our kids because they're more exposed to violence and police brutality?
We need to remind them, one, that they are loved and we are here to protect them and that we're going to do everything to fight for their right to live. But we also have to caution them with what happens when they walk out that door. We have to start having those conversations. And now I know why my mom prayed every single day for us when we left the house, why she didn't want us out in the streets, is because she feared that something would happen to her children. And so I know that many parents fear that for their own kids now.
How can we help children and young people of color who who have been victims of police brutality? What can we do?
We need to advocate for them. We need to tell their story. We need to stand with their families. We as Latinos don't think that police killings are our issue, but in actuality they are.
Él era alegre, le encantaban los animales, le gustaba armar sus Legos, jugaba todavía con Hot Wheels.